So I'm going to open up this box from Harbor Freight with the compact bender in it, and I'm also going to open up the scroll attachment because I'm going to make 6 of these. I was asked to do this, and I like to build things and I like to buy tools. So I'm going to show you what I find in this box and try to go through how to make some of the stuff work together. Okay, as expected, some styrofoam. Looks like some instructions. Design book, that might be helpful. And there you see the simple stand itself. So I'll get that out and try to get it set up. Well, it looks simple enough. One box had all these dies in it, and then these pin assemblies, a block of some sort, and that thing. And then there's another bag with hardware in it, and then the arm that you would actually make your bends with, and then the plate that mounts to the top of the post based on that picture right there. So that'll be my next step in putting it together. Well, that went together fairly easy. Just a simple assembly. There's some little spacers underneath here, and then you put the bolts in, bolt it together. And apparently I leave the arm off for now because I'm going to put on the scroll attachment, and there you can see what all comes with it. And there's a handle with a slot for the metal, your scroll shaper, guide, and a pin. So I'll assemble it as per that instruction and see what happens. Okay, the weather's a little bit better. Feels nice out. I'm outside in the t-shirt. It's daylight savings time has taken place or come back to us or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't care. I just know that I like to see daylight last more in the evening. I wanted to mount this thing to something, but I didn't want to bolt it to the floor, so I had this old pallet and I just clamped it down. There it is as an assembly without any of the added parts yet. Here's the main crank handle. I'll back that up. The metal is going to ride in this slot right here when you go, and I'll show you that. And you got the additional scroll part, and that just sits on there. And what that does is it changes how big the curve of the scroll will be at the end, and I'll show you that in a second. So you've got that in place, and then you've got a guide pin with this kind of a shoulder thing on it, and the instructions tell you to put it in the third hole, and I think they mean the third exposed hole. I think, if you went there, that allows you to get the metal started in that location and rotate it around, and then the metal is going to ride on that, and as it comes around, it's going to push this over and follow through, and you can actually see the shape of it. It's going to scroll around this piece. Now with that in place like that, you end up with a tight little scroll, and you can kind of see it there if you were to envision that on top of that or down inside, and that's okay, that works. And you can see where it rides on that shoulder. The difference is if you want to make a larger scroll, you take the pin out and you move it back, and that allows for that metal to have a bigger curve to it. And so it doesn't look that hard to operate. I just did a couple little test pieces, and I changed just how far I went with it. And here's the one with the bigger scroll on the end of it. Now my goal here is to replicate this piece, as I said. So what I'm going to do is, they made 6 of the, you know, an individual piece of these. So I'm going to make 6 of these, 6 of these. I'll make 6 of these legs. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll assemble these as I go. So let me see if I can make a couple of these and maybe mock something up. Okay, I'm going to try to make just this long leg, this loop here, and that should be the easiest one because it's just one loop. And I'll just show you what I'm going to do is, and I hope this angle's okay, feed that into that slot, rotate this around until it drops into that, against that shoulder I was talking about. Hopefully this will work. I know my camera's now shaking with the pallet, so rotate that. That's a pretty tight little shape right there. And I'm going a little bit at a time so that I don't go use up too much of the metal. I think that's as far as I'm going to go, because I'm not going to be able to make it exactly as this other one is. So let me show you what that looks like. And it's trying to rain on me now, but that's close. I may be able to open that up just a little bit and get it even closer, but I know it won't be exactly the same because it's not the same tooling that they use. But anyway, that's my first attempt at that. Well, that didn't take too long. I did make 2 of the top pieces, and again the scroll is a little tighter, and I had this one that I had already started, and it's got a little more scroll to it than that piece, but it's basically the same size when it comes down to it. And so now I'm going to try to figure out how to make the final curve here. And what I think I need to do, kind of some experience and some of a guess, is I'm going to mark that where that contact point is, and I'll work my way back to that, if that makes sense. So we'll give that a shot and see what happens. Well, that's pretty close. Maybe just a little bit smaller, but I will probably open that up just a little bit to make up any gap that may be created. And all I need to do now is make one of those, and I'll have enough material to make one of these. I think it's going to turn out pretty nice. I need to go back to basically Tractor Supply is where I got this metal, and get some more of this so I can build the other 5 or 6 total. And let's see if I can finish this one up. Well, that worked. It's a little, again, a little tighter than what I wanted it to be. Used up a little more material, but I think it'll be fine. I just need to get this bottom leg, get it welded together, and that'll be one done. Then move on. Not too hard to use. Take some experimenting. I could see room for improvement, like if it had a fatter die or something you could put around this right here to help it fatten up the curve, let's say, a little bit. I don't know what I could use, but anyway, that's just my thoughts. It could have something to make that fatter. So I think that's all I'm gonna do on this. And yeah, if nothing else, at least it's a little entertaining, something different. Well, there's the end result. That's the one I started with. That's the first one I made. There's the second one I made. So I only need to make 4 more, and unfortunately I can't find metal. I went to Tractor Supply, 2 locations, cleaned them out. I still need more. So that's all I'm going to be able to do. Now I'm going to just clean those up, throw some paint on them, and at least I get 2 done.